Hey, welcome back to Montreal Connected. Joined today on the panel by Ted Bird from MontrealHockeyTalk.com. We got Eric Engels from NHL Network on Sirius XM. And of course, we're talking NHL playoffs. The Montreal Canadiens taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round. I'll start off, guys, with the matchup here. I mean, is this the matchup the Montreal Canadiens wanted?
I don't know if it's the matchup the Canadiens wanted. It's not the matchup I wanted. I wanted the Canadiens and the Leafs, because 35 years is too long between the two, most historic rivals in the NHL. And for a while, it looked like it was going to happen. And
Toronto wanted that too, I'm sure.
Yeah. I don't know if there really is a matchup that you want necessarily, but certainly this is better than Boston, for example.
Yeah, I don't think there's any team in the NHL that'll tell you that they're aiming for a certain team that they want to play in the playoffs. That lends to bulletin board material, and that's not something you want to do ahead of a playoff series. But I will say that I think the Canadiens are extremely comfortable with this matchup, despite the season series going 3-0-1 for Tampa Bay. These are two teams that are evenly matched. They both finished with 100 and 101 points respectively, almost identical records. They both play the same kind of brand of hockey, defensive, in your face. They have good goaltending on both sides, and I think the Canadiens have to feel comfortable about the fact that they have experience going their way, and they have Carey Price in nets. And I think this is a matchup that not necessarily they were requesting, but one that they're comfortable with.
Okay, two teams looking pretty equal going into the first game. Now, let's talk about the Canadiens looking at the Tampa Bay Lightning. What are they trying to exploit out of the Tampa Bay Lightning to beat them?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is focus on your own strengths. And for the Canadiens, coming down the stretch of the season, it was 5-on-5 scoring. To start the season, their power play carried them through the first half. But in the second half, things got great at 5-on-5 for them as Thomas Vanek joined the team, David Desharnais, Max Pacioretty. There was synergy there. Obviously, the strength of the Canadiens is on the defensive side of the puck, one of the top 8 defensive teams in the National Hockey League. Carey Price in nets, we all know what he's capable of. But if the Canadiens can focus on putting the puck in the net with that top line and getting secondary scoring at 5-on-5, they won't have to worry that much about the power play, which stagnated towards the end of the season.
Not a lot I can add to that, because I'm of the same thinking. You've got to have secondary scoring. You can't put it all on the Pacioretty, Desharnais, Vanek line. The secondary scoring has to contribute. Also, I would like to see PK Subban be more PK Subanish. He tailed off towards the end of the season. How much of that has to do with him? How much of that has to do with how he's used as a matter of opinion, but I would like to see him get more ice time and carry more of the load to, if nothing else, take some of the load off Andrei Markov, who's 35 years old, and I think you want to pace him through the playoffs.
Okay, well, let's talk about Tampa now. I mean, they got home ice advantage, which a lot of people say is a huge advantage in that first game. Do you believe that?
I don't know how big an advantage it is. I like that old stat, and we talked about this a few weeks ago. If you can split the first two on the road, then you've got home ice advantage. So how important is it really? And this town being, such a hockey crazy town, it's almost distracting to open at home. The Canadiens can focus better opening on the road. So I don't think it's that big a deal.
Tampa fans will tell you it is a big deal. Yeah. Canadiens fans will tell you it isn't. You know what? Home ice advantage is an advantage if you make it an advantage. It's like Ted said, Tampa's got to come out and they have to take advantage in those first couple of games. If Montreal is able to wrestle away the first one, it's exactly what Ted said. They get home ice advantage. But when it all comes down to it, we're talking about two teams that were extremely close to one another. And if they end up going to Game 7, that has to be something that makes a more inexperienced Tampa side a little bit more comfortable, but it also adds pressure. So there's no way of really assessing whether it's an advantage or a disadvantage. But, it's all in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
Absolutely. Okay, we don't have too much time here. I got to get predictions. How far are the Montreal Canadiens going this year?
I don't know how far they're going, but they're going at least to the second round. We didn't mention Ben Bishop, the Tampa goaltender, who's out. That gives the Canadiens a huge advantage to me with Carey Price in nets. I say the Canadiens take this one in 5.
Yeah, I'm going to add a game and say the Canadiens take it in 6. And it just comes down to exactly what Ted said. There is a goaltending matchup here. This was the prime focus of the storyline as we came down the stretch, and we knew that it was going to be Tampa Bay and Montreal. It's looking like Carey Price versus Anders Lindback. and you got to go with Carey Price in that matchup.
That's it. Goalies are everything in the playoffs, and with Bishop out, I do like the Canadians as well. Oh, well, of course we love the Canadians, right? Go Habs, go. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you another time.
Thanks, Wilder.